to stop.
It's not the same for me. I love penetration. I think it's very important. You have to let somebody into your space, you know? You have to be willing to relinquish control. But at the same time, for me, the clitoral orgasm is the really intense humdinger, you know, like, bam, you know you've had an orgasm, that kind of thing. But maybe I haven't experienced the right kind of vaginal one. I'd be surprised.
From the hundreds of women that we talk to in our practice, women who have clitoral orgasms come from stimulating externally, clitoral stimulation, primarily around the urethra, around the labia, and they eventually reach an orgasm that is more localized to the clitoral area.
But when it comes to penile penetration, I like having a man over me. I like the smell of him and feel his, you know, the hair on his face. I like that. Or even just to see a man towering over me, that's a turn on for me.
When women reach orgasms through vaginal stimulation or G-spot stimulation, there are more pelvic contractions, more uterine contractions, so they often report that those orgasms are deeper and more intense.
Ooh, there's a hell of a difference between the clitoris and the vagina. Ooh, my God.
It's surprising because I've actually been with grown men, like in their 30s, who have said to me that something's wrong with me if I don't have an orgasm through penetration, and every other woman they've been with has had an orgasm that way. I'm like, oh, really?
I don't tend to have orgasms a lot with intercourse. With the penile intercourse, it doesn't happen for me.
I've never felt a vaginal orgasm. It's not something that has ever happened to me. I've only been able to reach orgasm orally or manually. I've never had it during intercourse.
I've come close, but I have not had an orgasm through sexual intercourse.
You know, I love the penis. I love that dick thing. But intercourse and orgasm, to me, are separate.
In our opinion, an orgasm is an orgasm is an orgasm, and it really doesn't matter. You don't even need to have one to be sexually satisfied, but if you're going to have one, one is just as good as the other.
So Mother Nature put our little clits with 8,000 nerve endings up on top.
Up until some research that was done maybe 3 years ago by an Australian physician, it was thought that the clitoris was merely this small piece of women's anatomy, but what really has been discovered is that it's much larger, much more complex.
The clitoris also has two legs that extend into the body and sort of surround the sides of the vagina, go in a couple of 3 inches at least. And those are erectile tissue, they're part of the clitoris. The penis actually has a root like this as well. They're called legs or crura, which is Latin for legs. And so any stimulation inside the vagina is also going to be giving these legs some stimulation, giving the whole clitoral body some stimulation. So talking about them as totally separate entities is really probably a mistake. We're not talking about a lot of acreage in the female genital region. We're talking about several square inches, but not far-flung parts that don't have any relationship to each other.
It's very interesting to look at the history of the vaginal clitoral orgasm debates, but let me try to summarize for you. Freud said that the clitoral orgasm was immature and the vaginal orgasm was mature.
A mature woman's orgasms are vaginal orgasms.
There is no such thing as a vaginal orgasm. All orgasms are clitoral.
Vaginal!
Clitoral!
Vaginal!
Clitoral!
Vaginal!
Clitoral!
Kinsey, in looking for areas of sexual sensitivity, used a Q-tip-like device to look for areas of sensitivity. And his findings show that if you stimulate the vagina with a Q-tip, you don't get a response. But if you stimulate the clitoris with a Q-tip, you get a response. So he concluded the clitoris and not the vagina was sexually sensitive. And I don't know about you, but my vagina does not respond to a Q-tip. I need something a little bit more than that.
The head of the man's penis is the sensitive part, and as he's doing penetration, he is getting the ideal kind of stimulation for his orgasm. Our clitoris is sitting up above, looking down, watching all this, and nothing is happening to the clitoris.
I mean, I love intercourse, but it's a whole different kind of thing. I love the feeling of being filled or whatever. This sounds like something out of one of those romance novels. But it's very nice and it's very satisfying, and it's the intimacy with the other person, as close as you can get. That's a lovely thing. But
As far as just pure sexual sensation, it's all clitoral.
The reason that so many women do not have an orgasm during partner sex is the way we define what partner sex is. We think it's a penis inside a vagina doing this. And I'm sorry, that is going to get it for the guy, but it isn't going to get it for the woman.
Am I going to come this time? Am I going to come this time? Am I going to come? Am I getting turned on enough? I might be turned on enough to come. Am I gonna? Am I gonna? Am I gonna? Oh, they slowed down. Oh, no.
It's very hard for women to confront this, and men too, because it's like it's been going on for so long. It is the definition of sex. And it's hard, you know, it's like, I know some other men that I've worked with when they say, well, then that means that my wife has been faking orgasm all these years. That's right, honey.